Many dog owners experience moments when their dog suddenly seems more distant than usual. A dog that once stayed close may begin spending more time quietly observing the environment. This change can feel confusing to owners who are used to constant companionship. From a dog psychology perspective, however, behavior rarely shifts without reason. Dogs constantly read the emotional and physical signals around them. Their behavior reflects how stable or predictable those signals appear. When a dog feels secure in its environment, it tends to remain socially engaged. Security encourages closeness and relaxed interaction. When signals become uncertain, dogs often move into a more observant state. Observation sometimes appears as emotional distance. Dogs rely heavily on patterns to understand daily life. Predictable routines help them interpret what will happen next. When routines change suddenly, the dog begins monitoring the environment more carefully. Increased monitoring can look like withdrawal. This behavior is not rejection. It is simply the dog gathering information. Dogs also respond strongly to emotional signals from humans. Even small emotional shifts can influence their behavior. When tension appears in the environment, dogs may become quieter. Quiet behavior allows them to observe safely. Dogs evolved as animals that constantly monitor their surroundings. This natural awareness remains strong today. Their ability to observe subtle signals helps them navigate social situations. Dogs often notice changes before humans do. Because of this sensitivity, dogs sometimes adjust their behavior earlier than owners expect. Their perception of change occurs quickly. What appears sudden to humans may have developed gradually from the dog's perspective. The dog has been interpreting signals all along. Understanding this difference helps owners interpret behavior more accurately. Dogs rarely change behavior randomly. Temporary distance often reflects observation rather than emotional withdrawal. The dog is simply evaluating the situation. Dogs also adjust behavior as they gain experience. Learning constantly shapes their interactions. Through repeated experience, dogs discover patterns in human behavior. These patterns influence their responses. When patterns remain stable, dogs remain socially engaged. Stability encourages confidence. When patterns become unpredictable, dogs sometimes create temporary distance. Distance allows observation. Dogs are extremely attentive to environmental changes. Even subtle differences may influence behavior. For example, a change in schedule can alter a dog's expectations. Dogs quickly notice these differences. When patterns shift, dogs begin observing more carefully. Observation helps them understand the new situation. Sometimes this observation appears as restlessness. The dog is interpreting unfamiliar signals. Dogs rely on structure to feel secure. Predictable routines create psychological stability. When structure becomes inconsistent, dogs may test new responses. These responses help them adapt. Adaptation is part of canine intelligence. Dogs constantly adjust to changing environments. Through observation, they gather information about what has changed. Each change influences behavior. Over time, the dog forms new expectations. These expectations guide future actions. Behavior evolves as the dog learns more about the environment. Learning never stops. Emotional signals from humans strongly influence dogs. Dogs are extremely sensitive to tone and posture. When emotional tension appears, dogs may become more alert. Alertness helps them interpret the situation. This alertness sometimes appears as unusual behavior. In reality, the dog is responding to emotional cues. Dogs constantly observe body language and voice tone. These signals provide information about safety. When signals appear calm, dogs relax easily. Calm environments encourage calm behavior. When signals feel uncertain, dogs watch more carefully. Observation helps them understand. Dogs rely on these cues to interpret social situations. Emotional signals guide many decisions. Because dogs evolved alongside humans, they became experts at reading people. This ability remains central to canine psychology. Understanding this sensitivity explains many behavioral shifts. Dogs respond to emotional patterns. Learning also shapes behavior over time. Dogs constantly evaluate how their actions influence outcomes. When a behavior produces a certain reaction, the dog remembers it. Memory shapes future choices. If a behavior gains attention, the dog may repeat it. Repetition strengthens learning. Dogs explore cause and effect through experience. Each response teaches them something. Through repetition, habits form. Habits influence personality. Dogs adapt continuously to feedback. Feedback shapes behavior. Because of this learning process, behavior changes naturally. Dogs evolve with experience. Adaptation allows dogs to thrive with humans. Flexibility keeps them successful. Observation and learning work together. Dogs combine both skills constantly. Social structure also influences canine behavior. Dogs observe relationships within the household. Stable relationships create predictable environments. Predictability encourages calm behavior. When relationships feel uncertain, dogs observe more closely. Observation helps them interpret changes. Dogs monitor tone of voice and attention patterns. These signals help them understand dynamics. Changes in interaction may influence canine responses. Dogs notice quickly. Their ability to read social signals helps them navigate human environments. This skill is essential. When social patterns stabilize, dogs relax again. Stability restores confidence. Confidence encourages companionship. Dogs reconnect naturally. This process shows how closely dogs watch their surroundings. They constantly interpret social information. Physical comfort also influences behavior. Even small discomfort can change interaction. Dogs communicate discomfort through subtle behavioral shifts. These signals may appear as distance. Because dogs cannot explain physical sensations verbally, behavior becomes their language. Observant owners may notice these signals. Changes in movement or energy sometimes provide early clues. Behavior often reveals hidden discomfort. When comfort returns, behavior often returns to normal. Dogs adapt again. Understanding these signals helps owners respond appropriately. Observation strengthens care. Dogs rely on behavior to express both physical and emotional states. Both influence interaction. When stability and comfort return, the dog relaxes again. Relaxation restores connection. Observation, therefore, becomes an important skill for owners as well. Understanding behavior improves relationships. From a dog psychology perspective, distance rarely appears without meaning. Every behavioral change reflects interpretation. Dogs constantly read patterns of emotion, routine, and social interaction. These patterns guide responses. When patterns change, behavior changes. Adaptation allows dogs to navigate the environment. Understanding this process helps owners respond with patience. Patience builds trust. Dogs rely on observation more than explanation. Their perception develops through experience. Because of this, behavior reflects what the dog has learned. Learning shapes interaction. Dogs adapt continuously throughout life. Experience constantly influences behavior. Owners who observe carefully gain valuable insight. Observation becomes understanding. Understanding strengthens the bond between dog and human. Communication becomes clearer. When trust grows, dogs feel secure again. Security restores natural companionship. Dogs do not withdraw emotionally in the way humans imagine. They simply adjust attention according to signals. The stronger the relationship becomes, the easier these adjustments are to understand. Trust allows calm responses. In dog psychology, stability and observation form the foundation of strong relationships. Dogs thrive when both exist. A dog that occasionally becomes distant may simply be thinking, and thoughtful dogs are often the most perceptive companions of all.